Hey you, so I'm just doing this video basically. It's just to answer a couple of questions I've had from a lot of new stackers basically. So these are individuals that don't own no metals and they've just got in, so they've just been asking me a lot of questions in the background, and I just wanted to do a quick video just basically answering some of their questions. I've been asked if I could do a video regarding what's going on at the moment with the whole devaluation of the pound and the Brexit, and just what I would purchase and should they purchase now. I've also been contacted by what I consider to be a not so serious stacker to be, and just wanting to have a tail chasing conversation, so or debate or argument. So I'll just highlight all of those and just answer them as short as possible and just keep it moving. So this video is just going to be basically me answering your questions and just sharing the conversation I had with the not so serious individual, and see, I'll put his or their question out there and see what you guys have to say about that. So first of all, regarding the whole devaluation of the pound and where I think it'll be in a couple of months or wherever, and Brexit, and I hold the same point of view basically. I mean, these things mean nothing to me personally. I mean, I'm affected by them at the moment negatively. Obviously, we all are who are in the UK, but at this exact point in time, I'm very happy I purchased when I did purchase, and it wasn't only metals I purchased, a lot of other things I purchased, but I'm real happy I did when I did, because it's one of those moments where I'm looking at it now and thinking, this is nothing. I mean, should it get worse? I could only see it getting worse, and I can't see it getting better. So to answer your question of should you purchase now, I would say by all means, yes, go ahead and purchase now. If you have the funds to purchase, I would purchase. Myself personally, if you're asking me, I would say yes, purchase now, don't hold back. I mean, a lot of the times you can look at channels like my own or anybody else's channels, and a lot of the times stuff that they purchase and even decisions and choices they make at the time, they're already in a comfortable position as we have metals. So a highly unlikely event, but if metals were to cease tomorrow, we all have our stack or our little foundation that we have there. So I mean, we're the only ones that are putting videos out there. Nobody's really put a video out there that's just started. But if you're watching our channels and then you're hearing somebody say, well, I'm not purchasing now, you have to remember that person has metals. So if you don't have metals, I personally would put yourself in a position, whereas to build your own little foundation. I mean, you've always got the buy what you like mantra, but I personally would say split a pie up and make it a foundation and of what you like, and you do that any percentage you want, and get yourself in that position where, I don't know if it's a couple of hundred, 500, 1,000, put yourself in a position first where you own. Prices at the moment, I personally don't think are crazy. I think they're more than adequate if you're going for your average Britannia, Philharmonics, American Eagles, even if you're picking up some Kooks or some Lunar coins. I don't think prices are too crazy. I mean, within the week you're getting swings up or swings down. If you've got the funds, I wouldn't take that luxury of time in my blows. I would literally pull the trigger now, personally. So if you're asking me, yes, go ahead and purchase now by all means. I mean, you won't regret it. I mean, if you think about it, silver at its highest, in its peak, in 2011 was £30 an ounce. So that's $50. So that's £30, and that's spot price. So if you could imagine what you'd be paying for your average Kook coin at the time in 2011, I mean, your Britannias should be looking at like £33. So looking at the prices now, I still think they're very handsome, and I have no doubt in my mind that we're going to pass those highs. So don't hold back. I mean, for me, what would make me start dragging my feet a lot more, even though I'm dragging them at the moment, is something like a £20 spot, £20 sterling spot, and I'm going to really pick my blows. I mean, currently at the moment, I've ceased buying all proof coins, and not because of the spotting issues or whatever. I mean, each coin has their own problems, but I've come full circle. So I've really gone back to basics now. Not saying that bullion coins ain't just as expensive. I mean, if you look at the 5-ounce mouse, you're paying a pretty penny for something like that. But that also goes to show I was starting a 5-ounce collection when spot was relatively low, so I had that luxury. But there's a lot of selections and sets, even the 2-ounce Kookaburra set, if you guys remember me displaying the box. I wouldn't say I've stopped collecting them, but they've been put on hiatus. It could be indefinitely because of the current climate. I'd rather get back to basics and stack and pick up great deals and just get the ounce count up with what I've got. With spot coins, I'm going to try my darndest. I don't believe I'll be picking any spot proof coins. I mean, the mandatory ones are my 2-ounce lunar proof sets, and anything relating to the proof lunar sets that I'm currently involved in. Other than that, I can't see. I've seen a lot of proofs come along, gold and silver, but I'm going to stick to my guns and just prioritize. And that's the advice I'd give to anybody that's just starting to stack. I mean, get the essentials and the mains out and go with it. With the whole Brexit, I couldn't tell you where we're going to end up and where we're going. With the presidentials coming in soon, I know it's one to watch and obviously see what happens after then. But if you've picked up some metals before then, it'd be a smart move. I personally can't see it dropping back down to when I first started. I mean, I only envy those that have been picking up metals for 10, 20 years plus, and even those that was picking them up 5. But we saw the best lows when I was in, luckily, and I just happened to come in and I went full throttle. I mean, I am known to be very impulsive and unorthodox in my ways, but it wouldn't have stopped me, because if I would have been in the same situation now, I would have done exactly the same thing and purchased. You've got to try not to pay too much attention to individuals that are in a position where they could be picky and pick their punches. So to answer that question, purchase, and don't stop purchasing. And so we have another question from an individual that contacted me in private. So I'm going to share this question with you guys. I'm not going to make the individual's name or anything public. I mean, I'm going to put his or her question out there for you guys to answer. I'll show you the answer I gave the individual, and maybe somebody can give the individual an answer that they find appropriate or sufficient. So here's what they said. I'm trying to read this off the camera screen, but it's really flown up. Did you guys see that? Hope you didn't. So they said, I have a question and hope you have time to explain to me. And by the way, I mean no disrespect at all in this question. It's just a concern. Oh, I lost myself. That I don't understand. Why silver and gold? Why stack it? There is so much of it. It can't be a storage of wealth or a hedge. If the shit hits the fan, gold and silver will be worthless. It will be service for service. It is not rare. There are trillions of ounces out there to be mined and on the market at pennies per ounce. If so rare, why are all these companies just taking fiat for it and unloading as much as they can? Just curious. I want to know why I should stack, because I'm seriously debating it. But it seems that it has a poor rate of return. Nothing drives the price except fear and greed. Again, no disrespect. So I took my time, my day, to answer this person's question. I mean, I cherish my time and I know my worth, so I really don't like engaging in pointless conversations. I'll tell you why I thought this conversation was pointless. If they would have basically just asked why I personally stack metals, I would have given them my answer. They did word it where they said why silver and gold, just putting it out there in the ethos. But I feel like if you're going to ask that question and have all those answers in response, you've made up your mind. So it's not for me to make your mind up. So I've told them, look, hi, first, let me say no disrespect taken. From what I can tell, you've done your research into the metals and came to your own conclusion about them, which I think is very good. And I do trust and honestly mean that. I mean, it's very good that you've done your own research and you came to your own conclusion. I've seen what you can consider angry stackers on YouTube, where they've listened to a pundit, whoever that may be, taken their advice, acted upon it, and basically when there came time to sell or do whatever, it hasn't worked in their favor, and they've been very angry towards whichever individual they chose to take the advice from, which is their own fault in my eyes. But so I'm not here to make angry stackers out there. So I normally conversate and build and bounce off of individuals that have made the same decision as me, and we build from there. This individual seems to have not made that same decision, but now wants to come forward and start basically asking why, and telling you why not. So I've basically said, came to your conclusion, which I think is very good. You have a rebuttal set in place to answer back to the most common responses you would get from your question of why silver and gold. It's not for me to convince you to buy into metals, and there are many precious metal pundits out there, from Mike Mahoney to David Morgan and all in between, who spend their time answering your question of why silver and gold. So now I take the time out to answer his question a little. And it says, prior to owning metals, I had the bulk of my savings tied up in the property I own and ISA and savings accounts. Was never big on stocks. After doing my own research, I felt I had too many eggs in one basket, and should something happen to my savings and my kids' future would be in ruins. Having 10% of my net in metals has left me in a less vulnerable position. My channel was for anyone who else came to the same conclusion for whatever their reasons, and serves as a beacon showing what I did and an individual to provide tips based on the actions I have taken acquiring precious metals. So let me just get back to the individual's response. So they've got back to me. I don't know if we can get that up. They basically said, thanks for the response. And as you said, Mike Nolly can, and is the highlighted can that made me want to bring this up with you guys, answer my questions, but his answers will be biased since he is trying to sell me silver and gold for my fiat. I was looking for a non-sales pitch type of answer to my curiosities. Thanks anyway. Now, if he or she was really interested, they would have asked, from what I think, basically, okay, who could you point me out to? And I find it funny when they say Mike Manoli wants their money. Basically, he's pumping metals. He puts the information out there about gold and silver. I'm not defending him, I don't know the guy from nowhere, but he puts the information out there about gold and silver. He doesn't put the information out there and say, now you must buy my, I don't know, unicorn coins and so forth. You have the opportunity and the freedom to go buy gold and silver from wherever you want. So I find that as a cop-out in a sense on your end, whoever written that, basically stating that they just want your fiat and all the rest. I mean, I could have easily said to you, which what you didn't put in there is, I purchase or I stack metals because I love to collect them. I'm a collector. And what would you have to say to that? So I just found the whole conversation, or even engaging in it with individuals like that, pointless. I see it as a tail chasing conversation. I'm not the one. I really don't have the time for it. So I want to put the individual's questions out there to you guys, whoever wants to put in the comments or give an answer as to why silver and gold, basically. Why, I would say, why do you stack silver and gold? So if anybody that wants to take the time out and put in the comments for why they stack silver and gold, fireworks going off out there, it'd be greatly appreciated. So hope that's answered your questions. I mean, no one carry on basically contacting me, and it's getting rather loud in the background. So hate or love it, leave a comment. It'd be greatly appreciated if you haven't subscribed, if you've done so, and I'll catch you guys on the rebound.